What is up, ladies and gents? It's time for another
Nonsense Rumble!
Yes. So it's a pretty simple concept, so simple that no one can claim we stole it. We pick a character each, fictional of course, that fit into a category, and then we have a healthy discussion as to who would win in a bout between the two. We do, however, have a few caveats, such as...
the if clause, if you require something, like Batman in his prep time, then they don't have it. They just got what they normally are depicted as an action figure.
Absolutely. We also subscribe to the Stan Lee theory of crossover battles, and that is, who will win against Goku versus Superman? Well, depends who's writing it. We have bias, we know we're biased. You're also probably a tad biased towards one or more of the characters, and that's okay.
Shout at us in the comments if we're wrong.
Oh, absolutely, please do. That being said, we've got a unique category today, Rick.
Yes, we're doing a fictional music Ian. Fictional musician, potentially fantasy. And do you have any honourable mentions for me today?
Oh, flipping the script. No, I don't. Do you?
I had Liliana as a fictional musician, but she's not much of a musician. She just sings.
Yeah, I get you. In Dragon Age 1, she's a bard, and all of her abilities that are worth a damn are the fact that she buffs the party with music. So I get it.
Yeah. Like, first and foremost, she's a rogue, rather than being a bard. Like, she introduces herself as a bard, but she's a rogue. And,
absolutely.
like, most of her damage is from being a rogue and, like, hitting people with daggers or a bow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I discounted her because I thought she wasn't going to hold a candle to what I actually picked.
Okay, that's interesting. You've tickled my curiosity, so let's hear your pick for today.
My fictional musician is Ino from Guilty Gear. She's a boss of the fighting game that she is introduced in, which means that she's automatically OP in that form. But even without that fighting game boss buff, she's still an incredibly competent, like, high-tier fighter as a playable character. She weaponizes music itself to manipulate enemies, and she's also a witch.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. I'm not familiar with this character at all, so there will be some mudslinging.
Yeah, she's basically a hot witch with a guitar. But yeah, how about you? Who's going to be your pick today?
My pick today is Motochika Chosakabe from Samurai Warriors.
Okay, I know nothing about this character.
Fair enough. He's based on a real-life Sengoku warlord, obviously. Very much known for rebellion. His character design is the definition of glam rock.
Okay.
His weapon is, it's not a guitar, it's not a lute, it's this weird sort of bastard hybrid. I'm saying that it's probably a traditional Japanese instrument that I just don't know the name of.
What, like a shamisen?
Maybe. So yeah, he plays a chord and it literally makes sound waves that do horrible damage around him. And of course, he's from Samurai Warriors. He regularly kills thousands of people in one battle.
Yeah, I remember when that basically became the tipping point between, oh yeah, killing 1,000 people means you've done incredibly well in that battle, to, oh no, if you don't kill 1,000 people, then you're not even getting an A rank.
Yeah, most recent games are like, you need to kill so many more. Although, you gotta be honest with you, in Samurai Warriors and Dynasty Warriors, they don't say kills, they say KOs. But... Yeah,
you know that's not what it is when you got a fucking sword.
I'm pretty sure it's called KO, because that way they get to keep the age rating down on the game.
Yeah. And also they get to keep bringing the same villains back in subsequent maps.
They used to do that in the older games. In the new games, they because they're following historical routes, characters do just die when they're supposed to.
Okay.
But yeah, this is going to be interesting, because I think this is the first time we've both picked a character each that the other one doesn't know.
Yeah, so I feel that it's a case of 2D versus 3D. Okay. So Ino very definitely works on a 2D plane. You get shown her attacks working in 2D, and they're very bullet helly to avoid.
Sure. If you converted Motochika into a 2D character, I don't think it would be bullet hell. I think his regular attacks would be more akin to Hadokens.
Yeah, so something that you can block but not really avoid.
Oh, you can't block because it's literally the weaponization of sound, but the shape would be her Hadoken. Because I assume you can block the projectiles of this other character.
I don't even know, actually. Like, whenever I fought her as a player, like, it was more a case of, maybe don't even bother try blocking, because normally to do that you have to reverse, which means that you're not getting close, so you can't kick her.
Oh, right, so she's a zoner.
Yeah, she's a real zoner. She stays at the back of the map and just bullet hells you.
Okay. I feel like perhaps
rather frustrating.
My mental image of bullet hell is probably not helping, because bullet hell doesn't really work in a fighting game.
Yeah, but it goes on in like sound waves, so like if you know how the wave is going to go, then you know whether you want to be crouching or jumping at the place where you are, or to move to somewhere else, because neither will help you, because it's going to be coming up or down at that point.
Okay, that sounds like a weird fucking way of controlling a fighting game character, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, she has other moves as well, but those are the most annoying ones, the ranged attacks.
Yep, sure. Like, this is going to be a tough one, because this really is just a bias match, isn't it? Because they've got, by the sounds of things, they've got very similar movesets.
Yeah, they're both weaponizing sound. Neither of them tend to get into combat, and both of them have a weaponized instrument that they can bonk people with, it seems.
Yeah. Like Motochika's noted for having a rebellious spirit. That's his gimmick, that's his character. So he tends to try and get up close and lead from the front, if that makes any difference, but I don't think it really does in a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, whereas Eno manipulates people. So I don't know. I don't know what would win. Like, okay, we don't use the if clause, but if we both resort to this, having minions, would control overwrite rebellion, or would rebellion overwrite control? I think rebellion overwrites control, really, doesn't it?
Here's the thing. Motochika rebels against every single dominant force ever in Sengoku Japan. He doesn't see it side with Ieyasu. He fights against Nobunaga when Nobunaga's basically got Japan. That's how much of a this is how he's slated in Samurai Warriors. I'm not trying to rewrite history. A lot of my history for Japan comes from this and Shogun Total War, so I realise I'm not a fucking expert and might just be straight up lying, historically speaking. But in the game's context, I'd say his rebellious spirit would not be conquered by control. His troops, however, I can't speak for.
Yeah, like it's one of those. The troops are not here, but I think they are actually kind of part of the conversation for once. So I guess if Eno tries to control his troops, he could probably just override that with rebellion, and he can probably just override any of the people that she's got as minions with rebellion.
It depends. It depends how much they believe in her rather than her controlling them. Do you know what I mean? If she's controlling
I don't think anyone believes in her at all. I think that people just think she's hot, and then she just worms her way in with music witch powers.
Oh, in which case we actually have a decent example, because there's a character in the most recent Samurai Warriors games who sways people from Motochika because she's hot, and then he meets her and goes, "You're fucking dumb," and completely counters her bullshit.
So yes, because the main fight was a standstill, I think this is a good time to break the no if clause, because we took the same if.
Yeah.
And so I think it's reasonable to give it to Motochika.
I'm obviously happy with that result, but it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting having to persuade someone when they don't know fuck all about the other character, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just logic through it, and I logic my way into a loss.
So on that bombshell, join us again next week where we have another fun category. Literally.
Yeah. See you later, everybody.